little too late, too much but inordinately delayed. That is the story of entrepreneurs in India. On whether it is media, whether it is investors, whether it is customers, they flock onto an entrepreneur when an entrepreneur has covered a very, very long distance in his journey. And that delays their progress and the country's progress, because the more early that we give resources to our entrepreneurs, the more they can utilize their hot headedness, their energy, their enthusiasm. And since media has given up the job of finding new entrepreneurs for us, this job we have taken over. And today we bring a newly minted entrepreneur, Ramira Taneja. Ramira Taneja is a film producer, and she has just released her first production, Love You Shankar. Ramira, first things first, what made you transition from being a film executive working in the best productions, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, Prakash Jha, and the works, to being a film producer yourself?
First of all, I should thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here, and I'm very glad that I'm sitting with another entrepreneur. And I really like the title of your talk show, like Big Bad Idea. Like we all have big bad ideas. And coming to your question, my transition from working for people to working for myself was, more organic. It is a mix of, me working for, around 13 years, with my cross-functional experience in and around the industry. And I'm fortunate that I have all big names who give me an opportunity to work with them. And the transition happened, when I say the transition happened organically, what I mean by it is that, beyond a point when you have learned things on sets, off sets, around the stalwarts, you also want to, have the creative control. And it's a mix of passion and, beyond a point, I was thinking I was going nowhere in terms of me working for people, setting up projects, and, it was a...
Yeah, I mean that's the life of many corporate executives. There's a time when you feel that
I was a little
this is a dead end.
frustrated with the status quo, so to say.
Yeah.
That one should now take that step to work for yourself and create more work for other people.
Because I think one of the motivations, that one of the paths for corporate executives who've been working in the best productions, the best companies in the world, if they feel that, oh, this is a dead end, I don't really enjoy this work that I did for my company, and the company gets to keep all the real upside and I have very little there. Being an entrepreneur is a step that they can consider, or they do consider. So Ramira, every business has an entry barrier, whatever it may be, whether we start a ports business or oil or films in this case. What is your first production was also a certain large scale production, it had stars and everything. What is the entry barrier of such a business?
I think I consider myself a classic example of an outsider who came, learned the ropes and techniques, and broke that barrier for myself. But the barrier essentially is for anyone who's new, access to stars, access to the dynamics of how things are working, access to exhibitors, distributors, and investors can be another problem. What will work, what will not work, assessing that situation if you have not been around for a while can be another thing. There are certain people who do come and do one project and but then their assessment of the whole, project is not what it should be, and the game is up by then. So these are all.
I mean, yeah. Let's say when somebody who's building a startup or an entrepreneurial venture, the financing partners are people who are themselves outsiders who want to enter the business. Any business suffers from their lack of knowledge as well. So that's something that we should all try to fix if possible. So, Ramira, tell me one thing about this film business. There are so many businesses being disrupted every now and then. Sooner or later, somebody finds out that, oh, this is a way to create some very big value, even if it disrupts everybody else's shop. So, in this, your film was released in cinema halls, right? So, what is the method now? Like, suppose I sitting in, let us say, Raipur or Agarwal or Bhutan, I can make a film somehow, right? Maybe of a good quality production, and there is somebody known whom I can get shot it, completed it. It's not very, there is no real mystery anymore about how production is done. So, if I have to release my movie in a cinema hall, how will I go about it?
Over the decade or over the 13 years that I've been working, there have always been disruptions. I mean, you would remember we were growing up and VCRs came and those tapes got redundant. And in 2014, I came up with the first ever digitally launched album. So that time, CDs, DVDs got redundant. And so there has been a disruption, and now people are talking about it more because of the digital disruption that has, happened 360 degrees. With the distribution essentially also changing apart from production, and distribution has become more hybrid. By hybrid, what I would mean is earlier there used to be distributors, and the industry was people centric and relationship centric, which was good in a way, which it is now also. But there were only handful of those people deciding and taking risks on your content. Now by hybrid distribution, what I mean is there are various rights people are aware of. There is satellite release. With OTTs coming, there is direct to OTT release. With apps coming, there is direct to apps content. With various other things coming, blockchain, VR, AR, everything is right now. The word is disruption. And for independent filmmakers, like initially there were a handful of filmmakers, I would say, and they knew, the ropes of the trade, and they could release their film in a classical model or whatever. And right now, and in between, like film festivals came up, which was also a disruption for independent filmmakers to show their content, which was never, people who had made short films, big long formats, which were not releasing, found space in festivals. And so similarly now, you are right that anyone can make a film sitting at home anywhere. I mean, thanks to technology and with cameras that are readily available in our phones, and options of putting it on YouTube. And so there are various methods available for content to reach out to the consumer. So if you are, for example, a independent filmmaker, there are platforms that are entertaining only independent content.
But let's say specifically, cinema halls. Like, let's say there is the, if you are a Majloom filmmaker, chalo, we have made something good or bad, and we want some presence in the market somewhere in the deep end somewhere. That part is sorted. You can release in some YouTube channel or some downtrodden OTT channel. But
nothing is downtrodden.
No, I think that ambition is necessary. Ambition is necessary when we look at the national landscape. There are small players everywhere, but it's Mark Zuckerberg that sets the tone for the industry, or whoever does it in whatever in equivalent industry. So let's say if we are talking about
That's the dynamics
somebody,
in any business, pretty
so,
much.
So somebody who wants to release center stage, okay, our film should be in PVR cinemas, we should be in whatever Cinemax or blah 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 on Inox. So how does that work now?
So
Let's say if I have money to release a 2-hour content in a film, which is censor certified, what happens next now?
oh, that way. So you mean the process?
Okay, yeah, I mean that may be a way to figure out how
So
it works. Yeah.
see, right now a lot is working on collaborations and partnerships, and the way the business has changed, like earlier there used to be buyers more for the content, but that also had a flip side. Like I said, that if distributors take risk on your content, you are everywhere, and if they decide as humans that they don't want to, or they don't think that, so it was a human decision, or based on which was subjective. But now more of partnerships and collaborations are happening, in the sense of then you get into partnership deals, you get into royalty sharing deals for a similar thing. And the reason behind that is nobody is wanting to part away with the so-called the IP, or the content, and there are various avenues through which the producer can earn. But however, coming to your question, essentially, that how do you reach there? So you have a film which is censored, like you said, and if you have the money to release it, we already keep a P&A budget in account earlier. And if it is meant for a theatrical release, because right now we are diversifying, or differentiating content, which is for OTT, which is for theatrical, which is for satellite, which is for apps or whatever. So if that falls under the release category, then we already have P&A budgets where we know that certain X amount of screens we are going to release it at. At the same time, that budget includes the service charge of exhibitors, and the number of screens will incur in the whole thing.
Yeah.
And added to that, if it is an OTT platform, then you don't need to keep a P&A in account. However, now there's a new ruling that you release the film and then you get a deal from OTT.
How do you manage the as a first time, second time maker, the money at risk is, let us say, 4 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore, 6 crore, 1 crore, 2 crore, whatever it is, right? The film budget, so to say. Now there are so many risks, financial risks along the path, right? You sign people, and then the film doesn't get shot, or it gets shot halfway. How do you manage to make sure that as an entrepreneur, when an investor is from outside, who's somebody else, how do you manage to ensure that the liability does not come onto you in case the project
so coming back to what I was saying earlier, and putting one more point in the whole thing, like as an independent filmmaker, you can also directly approach exhibitors, because distributors right now are
exhibitors means
non-existent,
cinema hall chains.
So you can directly approach exhibitors, depending on there are various models on which we are functioning. I mean, certain films are big star cast films, so they need that kind of release, they should get that kind of release, vis-a-vis certain films, like you said, downtrodden, I don't know, I don't like the word, but so depends on how much you are willing to expose the. And sometimes what happens is, you release a film, for example, I have worked in distribution profile also. So if you release a film with minimum screens, sometimes the content picks up, and
then you can increase the screen.
No, we don't increase the screens. It's exhibitors who want to increase the shows, and then the producer is more than happy to. So it just is, and sometimes it's a very big film release with big stars and all that, and in 2 days it's nowhere. So they decrease the shows also for them. So it is, that is the trade. The important thing is to reach a minimum, whatever is good, gauging your target audience, where it should get released, how many screens would be good enough, depending on the budget also. And coming back to your other question on
Financial
the investor
risk.
challenges, see, our business is anyways a high risk business, and
Like any business, I think that unnecessarily we talk about movie business being a high risk business, because if you start a factory, if you start a restaurant, chances of it being profitable after 5 years is still 20% or 10%. So I think that if there are 10, 15, 20, if one movie in 10 makes money and 9 loses money, then that's the ratio of startups as well. So at least in the movie industry, you are done after 2 years. So anyway, so please carry on with the financial risk that you carry as a producer who works with some other financer.
So
Like did when you started as your banner, RamiiPhy.
okay, I'll answer it in two parts. One is that right now people are talking about it, and since the time that I have entered this industry, this debate was going on whether film industry is art form or business. Okay, so if it is business, that is a separate part to it. But the ideal way to look at it is, we have come from a background, we used to do plays, dance dramas, and that was the art on which now the industry is capitalizing on, right? So what does an artist do? Artist has an idea, and then if you're passionate about that idea and you are living it day and night, you get certain people who also believe in your idea, and then you build on it, kind of. So that creative fuel needs to be there, and once that is there, even with the investor, so to say, when I say like-minded people, if you're talking about investors who say we'll put in this much, we'll get this much profit. So I don't think that's the ideal way to look at our business, so to say, because there'll always be some risk involved. It's not banking, it's not shares, it's not
it's not real estate.
Yeah, it's not any financial service that you put in this much and you'll get this much.
Mutual fund,
We are making art at the end of the day. These days, when people are making projects, you are seeing what's happening with the content. With certain day before, somebody was discussing cinemas are getting shut because of lesser films working. So I'm just saying that if we keep ourselves true to what we are
trying
actually
to create,
and we focus on the fact that we are making art like a play, then we find a theater to showcase the play, we do rehearsals, then we put it on tickets, right? So that is pretty much that basic we should keep in mind always, and that basic should always be there, that we are artists at the end of the day. If we start thinking that this much I will earn from if I do this, which is good also, but then the whole essence of so to the investors I would want to say that even if you are thinking at returns, which now the industry is generating also, there are ups and downs in every business, but if you have that creative bent, then only look at the
this business.
And because then coming to your question, that the challenges that come with
but anyway, I just feel that there could be very good business reasons to get into movies or any business, restaurants or builders and all. See, there used to be this saying, I think by Mark Twain, that behind every great fortune there is a crime. So so many businesses are built to convert black money to white money, to dodge tax, to launch your friend, or to have a good gala time, and to do something grand in life.
That is how the art is happening since King's
right.
times, right?
Yeah.
So there are various
but
things.
I think that
but you to maintain the balance.
I just think that there is too much excessive thought on returns when we talk about movies, because people feel that acha, Remember that film that was made for 1 crore and it made 120 crores. Everybody wants to be in that story, but it's like any other business. There are very few businesses which.
Let me
which are
ask you something. Again, coming from, we were sitting at a friend's office, and these are the things that we discuss. So there was a film that did very good on the box office, and we were discussing what a bad film. Yeah, what have they made? Yeah, and there's two people there who are like, that we consider that.
Wow,
I don't know.
this art,
yeah.
blah, blah.
No. There were 2 people who said, obviously there can be people who like it also, but there were 2 people who said, oh, but so what? It made money now. Does that make it a good film? Question mark. So, box office is important. Yes, box office is important for us to run the company, to run the business, but at the same time,
like after all, the entrepreneur, like
if it is not a good film,
it has to be like the basis of any business is, of course, to serve the customer. Like you have to serve the audience. Okay, it's for them that the film is being made, and it can be a different customer for everybody. But of course, and then if it makes money, it makes money. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. But it still adds value to the society, to the investors.
I'm saying if it is a good film at the end of the day, even if it didn't make money as much as these days, there's no film that doesn't.
There are other qualities to that project which should help.
If you take the right steps, these days there's no film that will not at least break even for you or not make money for you. No. If you've taken the right steps, if you just gone haywire, let's do this, let's do that, we'll see. Then
so you are saying that there is a fairly good possibility of making a film that breaks even.
It's not out 100%, 100%. If you've planned it in advance and if you've taken the right steps, there is no project that will at least not break even for you, even if you are not in profits. If that is the case, but if you've taken the right steps, you will eventually earn also. But at the same time, I'm saying that, for example, there is a fate of certain films that the film hasn't done well, but if it is good at the end of the day, if it has not earned or given you anything now, it might still be a property that will earn for the producer for
many years.
Yeah, because there's syndication, there is dubbing, there are so many things, I mean, there are
it's films, a property which can continue to make money some way or the other.
If it is a good film. Like in my case, I would want to do work that after 10 years that I see and I'm proud of, even if the box office is...
and can continue to make money if it is a good film, so to say. If it has some value,
because of the avenues now available.
If it has the ability to survive the test of time, it will make money.
Like we never knew OTTs are going to come up, right? There were so many films.
So all of those movies, all those years, they have suddenly been sold.
Like I think Mughal-e-Azam would also be there. So these guys never knew that
they're making bonanza after this new technology that has come up.
So if your work is good, it will find place eventually, even if the box office hasn't been good. If you're smart enough and if you know if you adapt. Adapt is another word, because with technology, every day we are getting,
How did you come to know that you want to be a film producer rather than an actor or a musician or a singer?
Okay. I have tried my hand at singing. And that time it was 2014 and I wrote and sang songs, and it was a album, like what do young people do? They make a band and an album like that. But unfortunately it was an unplanned move. Though I knew the distribution part, so I knew that CDs, DVDs are getting redundant, but I never planned the whole thing. I thought I will just take a break and do this, and I did it also. But at the same time, that didn't fare too well also. And, after that, the second step was doing shows or, getting contracted with any label. And for years, they get a contract done, which I did 1-2 shows. I was not literally happy. So it's not necessary that, for example, you like singing and you're passionate about it, or you like acting, or you like something else. It is not necessary that when you do it, you will like it. after that. So that is pretty much something that happened to me.
You've learned over the course of period of time that this is what you want, this is what you don't want so much.
Yeah. So and plus I was not just just a singer or just a, there are people who just do one thing. I was always exploring, and I was always open to new avenues, new opportunities. Whatever new wave has come in our industry, I was one of the first few people to jump on that wave.
New waves.
Like that time, we digitally marketed it. Nobody knew how will digital marketing happen that time. So with all the experience, at one point I felt that I can put it all together, and a producer is a person who, from start till the end can take the project ahead.
What are your hopes and dreams? What's next, or not what next? I mean, that may be arbitrary, but still, let's say, what's your dream thing to do?
Right now, being a startup, I mean, it's unusual that we call ourselves startup in the industry, because we've just done one project. So the dream would be to, like, the second step I have to figure out, but the dream would be to direct and produce. And the dream would be to come on the next phase where we also have a slate of films for a year, so to say, and then take it from there.
How do you manage your good and bad days at work?
Good days I don't need to manage. Good days are good, and there are more bad days, as it is a very cutthroat business. But thankfully, I don't know, I've always had a spiritual bent of mind since I was a kid, so that keeps me afloat. And then you surround yourselves with similar minded people who, beyond a point, there is a phase that everybody tells you also that you should have friends who cheer you up and keep you positive and all of that. And that's about it.
So so this is the journey of Ramira Taneja. We've captured her initial days of entrepreneurship, but as we see, there has been a precedent. She also did a digital album. So I think this kind of a thing is so much common in so many the lives of entrepreneurs. We wish her all the best, and
Thank you.
we hope to be still. I hope that I still continue to be